Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray is part of Court and Parts,
podcast network featuring pop culture, TV, movie, and geek podcasts. Check out some of our other shows: Geek Gravy, We Got 5, TV Ate My Brain, and Get Real Movies at courtandarts.com.
Coming to you undead from Elm Street in fictional Haddonfield with a beautiful view of Crystal Lake, the podcast where every day is Friday the 13th and every night is Halloween. You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray, part of the Core Temp Arts Podcast Network. Here are your hosts, Bloodbath, Bub, and Brett667, the neighbor of the beast.
Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray is the official horror movie podcast of the Core Temp Arts Podcast Network, the home of Let's Chat. That Pop This Life, We Got 5, Failure to Launch, and TV Ate My Brain. Go to coretemparts.com for more information. Rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes or listen on Stitcher, YouTube, TuneIn, and Google Play. And please hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr. The music is being provided by the Slasher Film Festival Strategy and Nightbirds. This is number 25, and it is part 2 of Xmas in Hell, hashtag Xmas in Hell 2016. My name is Bloodbath.
And I'm Bub.
Brett667 is not with us tonight because the movie we're going to talk about is a foreign film and it has subtitles, and Brett can't read. You can make him feel bad about it by for not being here by using the hashtag Brett667 can't read, which when you write it out looks like Brett667 can't read or Brett667 can tread. Subject.
I like that thought. He can tread.
It's subject to interpretation. It's whatever you really want it to be. So here's some good news. Our YouTube stuff is back up and working thanks to Bub. Thank you very much, Bub.
Oh, no problem.
Also, we are back on the Horror Amino. Not that our account was reinstated, but it turns out if you change your email, you could just start over, just like in real life. So that's a good thing, and I've been pretty active on Reddit lately as well. I think I'm finally starting to get what the fuck it's all about. I'm getting old. I'm starting to get touchy on things.
It's great.
You can find us on. I'm digging.
Everything's
it.
on Reddit. Everything.
So somebody, I'll get to it in a second, but somebody called me pretentious on there, and I've never said anything pretentious. I know I'm a little bit pretentious, but I'm not that bad. But I'll get to the context behind it in just a second. Actually, I'll get to it right now. If you follow us on social media, you'll know that I posted just me, not the other two guys, but my favorite horror films of 2016. I'm sure that they have their own favorites. I know Brett loved The Wailing, which is weird because it's a foreign film and he can't read, so he probably just made it up what it's about. But mine were from 1 to 5, Green Room, Don't Breathe, Neon Demon, Hush, and Conjuring 2. However, some great lists have popped off as a result. So Train to Busan, that keeps coming up, and which I heard they're going to make an English reimagining of it. The Witch, it also keeps coming up. It was a great film. And The Wailing, as I just mentioned. Also, Baskin and The Alchemist Cookbook. My opinion is not the gold standard yet, but I do want to hear what you think. So tweet your favorites at us. At bloodgutsbluray. 2017 is going to be great. By this time next year, we will be able to do a best of list, and a really, really good one. Because we're going to have our finger on the pulse for all of 2017. So that is coming out next year. So you just have to stick with us for 52 more episodes. And I promise that we'll get to it. Here's the thing. So I posted my list on Reddit.
Uh-huh.
And, people were popping off. They're like, hey, you should check out The Wailing if you haven't seen it yet, which I'll be honest with you, I have not seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I haven't seen that.
But I'm probably going to watch it tonight. Every time I look at it, though, it's 2 hours and 36 minutes. So I'm like, oh.
What country is it from?
Korean.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But that's fine. I love foreign films. I like that they're, they seem to, obviously they're from a different perspective, but their nuances are different. And it makes me feel more worldly when I watch foreign films. So I do enjoy them. But so the Neon Demon is kind of like, it's one of those movies that's kind of, you know, some people love it and some people fucking hate it. It's very polarizing. Nicholas Winding Refn, and I know I said his name wrong, and you can call me out on it. That's fine. I'm doing the best I can here. He's the one who directed it. He also directed Drive and Bronson and you know, a bunch of other movies. He directed Neon Demon, and when it screened at Sundance, he got equal amounts of standing ovation and equal amounts of boos. So it's along the same plane. Some guy was like, it's so pretentious. What a pretentious pick. And
really, I mean, I just
thought it was like
definitely up there.
Did you see it? Did you watch it?
No, I haven't watched it yet, but dude, it's all over the place. People don't really like talk about horror movies as much as we do. And I see that all over the place. That's all people talk about.
The reason I picked it, number one, I liked it. Number two, it was just this visual. I remember texting you, like, as soon as I was watching, like, this is one of the most visually stunning films I've ever watched in my entire life. It just, it feels like it's jumping out of the screen at me. I texted
That's
you
awesome.
something like that. And that's how I feel about it. It's on subject matter. I don't know a fucking thing about models. All I know is that they're way too skinny and they should eat a sandwich. That's about all I know. So, but I thought I thought the acting was pretty good. Keanu makes an appearance in the movie, and he's really creepy.
Oh yeah.
It was a cool movie. I dug it. So I don't know, but I basically, my reply is I didn't really I justified why I liked it, and I'm like, usually the people that are saying things are pretentious turn out to be the most pretentious people. So keep that in mind. The next time you call somebody pretentious, or you call somebody a hipster or something, you're probably a hipster, and you're probably pretentious. So just keep that in mind. With that being said, just before we continue, just a note, my roommate from college wrote a science fiction sword and sorcery supernatural novel.
No way. Who was that?
You remember Derek?
I don't think I do.
Derek wrote it. It's called Ashavanya's Demon, and it's by Derek R. Lafayette. You can get it on Amazon. I found out about it the other day, and when he told me that he was the one that did it, I went right over to Amazon and I bought it. Why did I buy it? Because when me and Bub here were in a dumb little band, Derek came out to our shows and supported us, and I never forgot that. He supported my independent art, and I'm supporting his. Listen, people, you gotta foster this kind of stuff. You gotta support the artists you like that are on like all levels, not just the ones that are the New York Times bestsellers. Derek is a super creative guy, and I have little doubt that what he's made is going to be great, and I want him to continue doing it because I know that he loves doing it. So buy his book, and if you're not going to buy his book, buy another book from another independent artist. There are tons of independent artists and authors and all kinds of stuff. Go see an independent film. Go to a local show and see an independent band. Go to your community theaters and see an independent production or your local art gallery. This is important. And I know I sound like an aging dogmatic punk rock kid, but you gotta water the seeds, or what you're gonna get is the same romantic comedy week in and week out of the movie theater. Hollywood's voice is super annoying, and when you get your local actors to Hollywood, that's when things start to really get shaken up. So if you hate Hollywood, and you hate mainstream books, and you hate mainstream anything, then support your scene, whatever it may be. And unless you love franchise reboots and Marvel movies, because that's all you're gonna get now. Franchise reboots and Marvel movies. That's all Hollywood does. So I'm done tirading for right now. Bub, it's time for Killer News.
It's that time again. It's Killer News with Bub on Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray.
All right, so this first one, after saying that, I don't know if I'm so comfortable with how I'm going to lead into Killer News right now.
Go for it.
So R.L. Stine, the guy who wrote all the horror books for children,
yeah,
he confirmed this week that he's working on a Marvel Comics. He's working with Marvel Comics to write the new Man-Thing comics. So that's just perfect.
This was not planned at all.
Well, I'm still excited for it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I loved Goosebumps.
Yeah. I think that got me into horror when I was little.
Oh yeah, big time.
I'm telling you.
And the Fear Street stuff was weird. Looking back, it was weird that I read any of those. But I read like 4 or 5 of them. But I read all the Goosebumps. I loved Goosebumps. I still do. I can't wait to pass that down to my kid. And I'm sure you're kind of in the same boat where it's like, I can't wait to buy this massive collection.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you.
Like a couple years ago when we were getting ready to have ours, and we're like, oh, we're gonna get all the Dr. Seuss books. I'm gonna hold off on that, and I'm gonna get her the Goosebumps books later because I think she will love them because she's my kid. So she's a total square. Yeah. What else you got?
All right, so and then there's a deleted scene from the movie Krampus that connects it to the movie Trick or Treat.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I guess Michael Dougherty, he co-wrote and directed Krampus, but he also wrote and directed Trick or Treat. So I was looking online this week, and they said there's a deleted scene. I actually watched a deleted scene, and the candy that is from Trick or Treat is in the deleted scene for Krampus.
No way.
Yeah, so they're kind of trying to say that they exist in the same universe.
Well, that's fucking awesome.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that makes it. Now when we were, let's see, let's go a little bit behind the curtain. We're watching Krampus next week. We're going to talk about Krampus. So now I'm going to watch that in an entirely new light. I'm excited now. I'm excited to watch it again because I watched it last year and I loved it. So
I never saw it.
Oh, you're going to love it. You are absolutely going to love it.
I mean, from the images I saw from it, it looks creepy.
Now, there's another one. There's like 3 Krampus movies. There's like, there's one on Netflix that's like Santa vs. Krampus, and I haven't seen that one.
Okay.
And there's the one with Adam Scott, which is the one we're going to talk about. And then there's another one that's terrible. It's called Krampus the Reckoning. And I watched that one, too. And it is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Really?
Oh.
It's a 0?
Actually, no. It's not a 0. It's not a 0. There's a special place in hell for zeros. It's not there because it has there's some parts that are like so bad that they're memorable and they're funny.
All right.
But this one is, I mean, it's not a movie I would buy. I know that we're going to end up talking about it next Christmas, and I'm not looking forward to it. Let me just put it that way. I'm thinking about like next year we'll just do like a whole month, like maybe the month of November of just terrible movies, like the worst movies I can think of, just to get Brett annoyed.
Movies you're not thankful for.
No, movies. What?
It makes sense. It makes sense.
It does. What else you got?
All right, so as far as video games, Resident Evil 7, the demo, was released on PS4 and Xbox One this week. Mm-hmm. It looks terrifying. I love it. I haven't downloaded it to play the free demo yet, but I'm telling you, it's a lot of a dude walking around with just a flashlight through a creepy old house, and I love that type of stuff.
Yeah, that's creepy.
And the one trailer that I saw for it of a kid playing this game, it's just like this kid stumbles on this old man in this dark hallway with a shovel, and the guy's just chasing him down the hallway with a shovel, trying to beat him up with a shovel.
Dude, that's wild.
Oh, and it's so creepy because there's like no music, there's just footsteps. It's just it really freaked me out.
That is wild. I'm thinking about, I wish I could free up my time. I really wish I had more time to sit and play video games. Like, I'm in school right now, and I'm like dedicating all my time to that.
Yeah.
And so like I know that like for me to get a movie in every day is okay because they're like 90 minutes for the most part, 90 sometimes 2 hours, and I can just do that, and it's like a welcome break from studying and doing homework and whatnot. But if I sat down in front of a video game, nothing's getting done. I just know that. So
19 hours later.
Yeah. Like, oh shit, I'm late. So, what else?
Oh, you know what? Did you the video I sent you earlier of Ash versus
Henrietta?
Ted Raimi's back. Henrietta again.
Ugh, I can't wait. I don't have stars. It sucks. Like I kind of want to get it, but like it just it's a question of money thing. And
oh yeah. But did you watch that little like snippet that I sent you?
Yeah, it looked great.
Oh my god, she looks disgusting. You know, the whole back of her and like all that, like, you know, the rolls and the fat. It was just like terrible
and stuff. Ugh.
Oh yeah, and he sticks the chainsaw in her. You know, and, oh man, I loved it.
I loved it. That was awesome. That was really, really awesome. It was a good way to pay homage to the movies that spawned it, because that show is a hit now.
Oh yeah, and
it's a certified hit.
It's so funny you're saying about the Reddit thing, you know, and people be like, oh, you know, somebody was complaining that, like, you know, the whole Ash thing, they're doing the time travel in that show now, you know, to go back to that type of thing. And I just want to be like, what do you think that these movies are about? The first two are solid, but, like, once you hit Army of Darkness, it's a time travel movie. You know, we're into time travel, you know, so it totally, like, that's its stomping grounds.
Sure, and that's what makes it fun. Like, there's just been such a demand for this character Ash since Army of Darkness, since that movie, and since people were walking out of that theater, they're like, we want more Ash. And thankfully, the creators of this show, like, you know, they waited and waited until the right opportunity presented itself. And I think that the show is a really good vehicle for this character. We love this character. He's great. And the fact that he's, like, older and he's got, like, hip problems and soreness and he's kind of fat now, that's what makes it so awesome. Like, you know, he's grown up too. And that's what makes it cool. And look, the show's got its flaws. Don't get me wrong. I hate CGI. I talk about how much I hate it all the time. And it is steeped in it. But you're not watching it for that. You're watching the show for Ash. That's why you're watching it. The other characters, they're just coincidental. Like, when Henrietta's in the picture, I mean, I like season 1. It was fun. I keep hearing the best things ever about season 2. And I think that that's awesome.
I just like we're back in the fruit cellar. Someone's back in her fruit cellar.
Did you ever see the outtakes of, like, they had Ted Raimi beneath in the cellar, and he's, like, just sticking his head out, and they're like, say that you made, like, talk about the pies you used to make, Henrietta. He's like, I used to make the best pies. And it's just it's so great. Oh, it's so great.
I'm telling you, that's Sam Raimi's little brother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. Can you imagine? He's like, all right, you're in the basement with all this stuff on.
Oh, yeah, he used to torture him. And,
that's like, hilarious.
And they almost had to take him to the hospital a few times because of how hot he got in that thing.
And I bet.
It was like in the middle of summer in North Carolina. It was awesome. Such a great movie. I'm glad we talked about it. I'm really glad that we spent the time talking about it. And we're going to obviously at some point have to talk about the other 2, 3, whatever.
Oh, yeah. They're classics.
Totally classics. Anything else?
Nope, that wraps it up.
All right. Well, Bub and I will be back to talk about Sint. You are listening to the official horror podcast of the Core Temp Arts Podcast Network.
You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. Let us know what you think by reaching out to us. We can be found on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, or Facebook by simply searching Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. To suggest a film or trailer you think we should discuss, or to comment on this or any other episode, send an email to bloodgutsandbluray@gmail.com. We will always get back to you. Thank you for listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Nou, ik zie jullie morgen. Tenminste, als jullie er dan nog zijn. Doei.
Wat bedoelt ze met als jullie er dan nog zijn?
Het is vanavond volle maan. Het komt maar eens in de 32 jaar voor dat volle maan op 5 december valt.
Ja, nou, volgens de legende komt Sinterklaas je halen als het volle maan is op 5 december.
Hey, pas je wel op voor wie je vanavond de deur open doet? Voor je het weet is het een slecht heilig man.
dood.
Zijn je ouders thuis?
Hoezo?
Nou, kun je me vast een cadeautje geven?
Ja. En bang. Timmy, Sinterklaas bestaat niet. Dat heb ik je al 100 keer uitgelegd.
We moeten wat doen als politie. Wij zijn er om de burgers te beschermen.
Verbod op alle Sinterklaasactiviteiten.
Iedereen denkt dat hij jarig is, maar hij is gestorven op 5 december. Hij is gruwelijk vermoord en nu komt hij terug om wraak te nemen.
Pakjes aan is leuk, maar je krijgt altijd zoveel rommel die je niet nodig hebt.
We gaan er allemaal aan!
Sinterklaas kapoentje. Gooi wat in mijn schoentje. Gooi wat in mijn laarsje. Dankie Sinterklaasje.
Ik had me toch een hele andere Sinterklaasavond voorgesteld.
We are back, and we're going to talk about Sint. Sint is a 2010 Dutch film directed by Dick Maas. Throughout the rest of Europe, it's called Saint, and in the US, it was released as Saint Nick. The film alludes to 300 kills, but there are 31 on-screen kills, and there is a naughty count of 1. Since Brett is getting lessons in literacy, I'll do the honors. Sinterklaas is an evil bishop, and in the year 1492, the citizens of Amsterdam are tired of his reign of terror, so they burn him and his crew of henchmen alive in their boat. But each time that the date of their death, which is December 5th, coincides with a full moon, Sinterklaas and his army of Zwart Pieten, which I'll explain later, come back and kill the citizens of Amsterdam for one night. The film takes place in what is presumably Amsterdam 2010, where some high school kids, with the aid of a detective whose family has been killed by Sinterklaas about 40 years before, try to stop him and keep the body count to a minimum. With so many people dressed up in costume for the holiday festivities, it's hard to tell who's evil and who's about to be the next victim. So,
very well done, man. That was good.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I don't know how does Brett do those so well if he can't read?
I don't know. He memorizes them.
He does, right?
He's cray, dude. So right off the bat, like one of the things that I really liked about this film was how fucking evil the Santa Claus, which I'll probably refer to as Sinterklaas a bunch of times, how evil he fucking looks. Especially before he gets burned. I loved it. He looked like an Ivan the Terrible type. I thought that was just so cool. And,
that staff that he carries too, that thing looks evil.
Oh yeah, dude. That was wild. So one of the things that I understand about this film is that people got super hung up about this in the Netherlands, like really bad, because it's a holiday that they hold really close, and it's got a lot of problems. Which we'll get to later, but it was like it was basically like when, you know, many years ago, when Silent Night Deadly Night came out, and a bunch of like PMRC type parents who like want to ban books from school because they're, you know, for whatever reason, they have their own agenda. They wanted to ban Silent Night Deadly Night. They wanted the posters taken away from the movie theaters. They didn't want it in their local theaters. And
that's insane.
It's like the same thing that happens there. So we are just like everybody else. America is just like everybody else. There's super conservative people who don't, you know, who want to police you and tell you what's okay to watch and tell you what you can say, and they want to put you in a box. And thankfully They didn't let them do that because I really enjoyed this movie.
Oh, I liked it too. You know what would be great to see is like one of those people who's never seen this film, like put in a room and videotaped and like screen the film, you know, and like when they're burning St. Nick's boat at the beginning in 1492, they're like, hey, we didn't fucking do that. We didn't fucking do that.
That was
1492. St. Nick sailed the ocean blue. We didn't burn his boat.
I like that whole thing. I like how they made Santa like an evil character, and then they made and then they show you
great.
how sort of corrupt like folklore can actually be and how it can get twisted, and how.
Oh yeah, I loved how
I'm
like
sorry.
with like the Sinterklaas. I loved how like you didn't know who were the ghosts or who were like the bad dudes because everyone celebrated. They all looked like that.
It was what's awesome. It was like they were hidden in plain sight. So early on, we get past there's like multiple flashbacks before we get to present day. And the first one, of course, is in 1492, where the Sinterklaas and his henchmen are getting, they get burned alive, and they all die, December 5th. And then December 5th comes, probably in like the 1970s or 60s or something. I mean, based on what was on the television, you can assume that it was either the late 60s or the early 70s. And the Sinterklaas comes out, and him and his Zwart Pieten kill an entire family except for one little kid. And that little kid ends up being a detective in Amsterdam. And that brings us to present day, and you're in like a present day Dutch high school setting, which is a lot like an American high school. Kids are total dickheads, except they give each other dildos as presents, which was hilarious.
Oh my god! Right, that part I was totally freaked out by. Like they were just like, "Oh, that's 7 dildos this year. Last year was 6. Maybe next year will be 8."
And some girl just totally breaks up with her boyfriend in front of everybody, which is horrible. While they're exchanging gifts, and she basically gives him like her panties as like a parting gift, and it was just like a weird scene. But okay, so they leave their high school, and the girls are just kind of walking home, and they're all friends and whatever. And I noticed, and I don't know if you noticed this, there's a lot of similarities there between that and the original Halloween.
I was gonna say that totally reminded me of that part.
When they're walking home and there's like that voyeuristic element, like the camera's kind of like stalking them out a little bit, and it made me think of like that and like some of the De Palma stuff, because De Palma had that like very stocky camera. He did that a lot. The movie is and then
I love that
of course
stuff.
You find out later that the movie is essentially that part is essentially taking the point of view of the Zwart Pieten. But later on too, that detective that I alluded to, he ends up becoming like a Sam Loomis type character, like he knows that something's going on. He knows how evil this is, and everybody else is like, nah, you gotta calm down. People are starting to talk, and it was pretty cool. I cannot begin to describe my discomfort in watching Europeans put on blackface to celebrate Christmas.
Oh my god, right? They're so comfortable about it.
So that is what we need to talk about here, which I sent you a video that sort of outlined what it is, but I think we need to address this, because we can't, if somebody goes out and watches this movie, they're going to go, how could you not bring that up? We're racist if we don't, basically. And basically, here's the tradition. I'm going to break it down as best I can, because I'm just finding out about this after watching this for the first time. The Zwart Pieten basically is Dutch for Black Peters. And what a Black Peter was, now we've all done our world history, our Western civilization history. The Dutch had, they were a colonial state. They were colonial. They had slaves. And basically what it is they are St. Nicholas's slaves. And what they end up doing is they sort of do his evil bidding for him. So they give away, Santa gives away the presents and the candy and, the normal holiday shit. And the Zwart Pieten are almost like Krampus in a way. They snatch up the bad kids and they bring them to Spain where they get tortured forever.
I love when they were sliding down. They slide down those chimneys like no problem. Like they're just like, oh, doing my job.
Now the Dutch, and this is a big problem there. Like in Amsterdam, they're not allowed to dress in blackface anymore, from my understanding. The defenders of this like blackface thing were like, oh, but that's because he's covered in soot. And that's where this thing comes from. It dates back so far. It actually only dates back to like 1850, and they're clearly described as like slaves. So it was a way to demonize. It was a way to demonize black people. It's terrible. It's a terrible thing.
I'm telling you, it
made me extremely uncomfortable to watch, and not.
I mean, it was just so blatantly in your face. I think it would make C. Thomas Howell uncomfortable.
That was insane. That is so bad.
Right?
That's so bad. I can't believe that they got away with that.
Yeah, it was just like, no, this is happening now. Everyone be cool with it.
That's awful. Yeah, so the defenders of it were like, oh yeah, it's because he's covered in soot. And that's something that they made up for themselves. You know what I mean? Like people who defend the Ku Klux Klan being like, oh no, they do that because they were trying to fight oppression, and that's why they dressed up in white and stuff to conceal their identity. And it's like, I don't know what fucking history books you've read. I don't know what narrative you're trying to push across, but that's not it. That's not right.
Yeah. I'm telling you, if you're covered in soot and you're white, there's gonna be some white spots sticking out. All right, it's gonna look like you got blasted with soot. You're not gonna be full on black,
Right. It's like Mary Poppins. Everybody's seen Mary Poppins, and the chimney scene when they're dancing on the chimney and the chimney sweeps. You know what part I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yep.
Nobody thinks that they're trying to do blackface. Nobody.
No.
Nobody.
Right?
That has never come up. And if somebody accused them of that, I'd be like, you're a fucking idiot. Because that's what...
Right? Like,
you're an idiot, and you are trying to take a movie and make it a racist movie. Like, that's not a race. Chimney sweeps are a real thing. They used to be real... they don't really do it anymore because nobody really has, chimneys like that anymore. But that was, a real thing.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? My whole feeling on, the whole, blackface thing they were doing, it's like, okay, if you really feel that way, then why are you putting on the red lipstick? Is that really necessary?
Exactly.
That's the right?
That is the dead giveaway.
You're a liar.
That is the dead giveaway. So now what they do is, and I did a little research on it, not too much because I didn't want to hang the whole show up on this, even though I was hung up on it. It bothered me.
Oh yeah,
to
I hate
watch.
That stuff.
I don't like that stuff. But now what they do, I guess, over there is just so that way we all feel better about this. And I'm sure that there's strife about it, but I mean, I came away feeling better about it. That's a terrible thing to say. Is they apparently they're not allowed to do that anymore because it incites anger toward any black Dutch people. They're they get treated differently in schools because they're like, oh, you're Zwart Pieten, and they point at them and they say you're evil. So they get demonized the whole time. It's terrible. And I guess the government kind of was finally came around. Maybe it wasn't even the government. Maybe it was just the city municipality. Anyway, if you're in full blackface, you're not allowed to be there. If you're clear, like you said, covered, it looks like you're in soot, people were taking soot and putting it on their face, then they're like, okay, that's fine. And they don't call it Black Peters anymore. I guess they call them Chimney Peters. So there is, progress in the world. But again, just like America, America's got serious race problems right now. And
I know, it's like 2016. It's like, come on, I thought we were over this. Like,
but apparently, some people just want to be racist all the time, and then there are others who want to think that everybody's racist all the time. So it's like and I'm like, I feel like I'm stuck in the middle because I know for a fact that I'm not racist at all.
Oh, me either.
But at the same time, I'm like, it's 2016. We shouldn't have to, put a Mexican guy in a movie because it's 2016. We should just make the movie, and if the part's right and the guy's the right actor, then you just put him in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't buy into that. I hate that thought process. But we're pivoting too hard. Anyway, let's get back to the terrifying and the Zwart Pieten are terrifying.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
super scary. They're like the scariest fucking elves you've ever seen.
I'm telling you. You know what? Like that car scene where like he's trying to get away from him, that scared the shit out of me.
Great scene.
Oh.
What a wonderful, great scene, ending with a awesome chase. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it. There's another part, too. Like, we were talking before about how there are parts of this movie that reminded us. Like, I think this movie tried to subtly pay homage to other movies that Dick Moss tried to subtly pay homage to other movies he appreciated.
Definitely.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but when the one girl's brother, I think Timmy is his name, is totally convinced that there's somebody outside his window or under his bed, and he's lying alone in his room, it reminded me of Poltergeist.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
I was thinking of Poltergeist the entire time. I was like, wow. And it was a well done nod to
and you know how I know that?
Poltergeist.
You know how I know that is totally a nod to Poltergeist? Like the sister's like, well, I'm just gonna turn on your nightlight, and the nightlight has the creepiest fucking clown you've ever seen in your life.
That's what turned me on to it too. Same exact thing. Get out of my head, bub. But so the part where the Zwart Pieten are attacking Frank and his friends. All right, so we gotta kind of go into that.
Yeah.
So Frank is the guy who got dumped in the beginning of the movie. This movie's kind of all over the place with characters. They don't really develop the characters very well. That's one of the flaws in this movie. But Frank got dumped by his girlfriend in the beginning of the movie. It turns out that he is kind of smitten, and he hooked up with her friend. And his girlfriend that dumped him had also been cheating on him the whole time. So there's just like there's like a kind of a love triangle tryst sort of thing happening here. And basically the only person who's not having sex with anybody is the detective.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody else is banging, but you don't see anything. It's wild. So they are Frank and his friends. They're going out, and Frank is going to be Sinterklaas, and his friends are both dressed up as Black Peters, and that was the part that we were talking about where they're putting on the blackface, and Bub and I immediately got uncomfortable just watching it. So their car like breaks down, or no, it doesn't break down. They're using a GPS. It leads them in it gives them terrible directions. One guy gets out to take a piss. The other guys are just kind of hanging out, and then the Black Peters just attack.
Oh yeah, they swarm the thing,
and they swarm them, and then Sinterklaas is like down the road with his horse, and he's getting ready to like charge them. Here's the one problem I had with that scene. There's like, so Zwart Pieten, great. The full mob like coming onto the car and just like destroying it. That was great. The problem was the CGI. There's like one clip where they use this ridiculous CGI with the hoof. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh right? Yeah. Oh yep. I knew you were gonna hate that.
I've become so predictable.
Like the
episodes.
deaths in this movie, when that stuff happens, I was like, oh, he hates this.
But yeah, and then you see this like dumb CGI, and that sort of just lets you in like, hey, there's gonna be a ton of this. So just brace yourself. And there is, and it's horrible. And that's like one of the worst parts about this movie. It really bothered me. But what I thought was really cool, and I thought this made this movie really great, was that every time there's about to be a new victim, they smell burning.
Oh yeah.
Or they see like ashes around them.
I love that.
And I thought that grounds the whole concept of it in realism. And it's a little bit cheesy, okay.
Yeah.
But it makes it completely unique, and it laid out the storyline that it gave you earlier. You know, like at the very beginning of the movie, it ties it all in. And I thought that was great. Also, what's great about that is the holiday season itself kind of has a smell to it. The fucking trees, the wreaths, the cookies, the booze, your uncle's into racism comes out, your family starts yelling at the dinner table, someone's crying, someone's bleeding, someone's disowned. That probably, the last few parts are probably just my family, but that's usually how it goes.
My family's in there too with that.
It's terrible.
It's a northern New Jersey thing.
Yeah. It's pretty weird when your cousin tells you to go fuck your mother right in front of your mother, but, you know, it happens. But I thought that's what makes it so cool. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure the holidays are the same everywhere around the world. Who celebrates the holidays? It's the smells. You go into the mall, you smell the cookies, you smell the gingerbread, you smell the bullshit, you smell the commercialism. And I thought that was really, really cool. And there's just some brutal kills.
Oh yeah,
brutal kills.
I mean, I know you don't like CGI, but I thought some of the kills were great.
Some of the kills were great. What was your favorite one?
I don't really know what my favorite. You know, I really liked when like the girlfriend of that kid got like when she checked on the brother and she came back downstairs, and then all of a sudden she gets like, she basically falls through the chimney, and she's hanging upside down. I love the way she looked in that.
I liked when the nurse got killed.
Oh yeah, when you see her feet rise up.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Very, very suspenseful. And there's a couple kills on the boat that I thought were really great. So we'll just kind of go through the plot, because this movie's over 6 years old now, so we can
spoil
the whole thing away. Spoil the shit out of it. So basically what happens is they kind of have Frank pinged for this pinged for all the murders that are happening. And they bring him in. The police get him after the chase scene with the Zwart Pieten, and they bring him in. They start questioning him, and they go to like take him downtown basically. And the two cops that take him, like, they get attacked, and they start battling it out, and they're like involved in a chase now with Sinterklaas, and he's like on the roof on his fucking horse.
I love that. I love that. The horse is just going over the different buildings. That was sick.
That was pretty cool. That was a good use of CGI. That was a great use of CGI. And so like he gets away. The two cops end up getting killed. He gets away, and he gets in with this detective who has been like relieved of duty for the night because everybody thinks he's crazy. Sinterklaas is gonna come. He's gonna kill everybody. Yeah, whatever, buddy. Take the night off because you're getting everybody weirded out now. So he's just like kind of on a boat looking for Sinterklaas's boat.
Because that's not crazy.
And that's not crazy at all. And in his boat is just tons of explosives. He's gonna blow it all up. He's gonna blow it all to hell. And he's gonna kill the shit out of him. Well, he ends up getting found out, and these cops are like, you're a fucking nut bar, and this is gonna get you fired. Get on here, you're all under arrest. And then they get attacked.
Oh yeah.
By the Black Peters and by Santa Claus. So they finally get to shore, and I don't think I've left anything out at this point, right? I mean, we're basically, like I said, there's no real character development.
Oh
no. The conflict is basically at this point between these two, Frank, the detective, and Sinterklaas and his Zwart Pieten.
Well, the detective was Gert.
Gert, yeah, Gert.
Yeah, Frank's the kid. But you know what I kind of loved that made everyone think that Gert was like crazy was when those guys put that package, like that gift, on his desk, and he just walks in and starts shooting the shit out of it.
I forgot about that. That was so great.
That's one of my favorite parts of this movie. Like, there's just a Christmas gift on his desk, and he just walks in for work, and he just destroys it with like all the ammunition in his pistol.
And they're like, "You just killed 5 boxes of wine."
Yeah, and that's what sends him home. That's what sends him home. And then he's like, "I gotta get my boat with all these explosives."
Such a wild, but it was good. Like I knew how crazy this was when I was watching it. Like I was processing that, but I was still invested in its like realism. The director did a very, very good job. I'm not gonna repeat his name a bunch of times because I know I'm saying it wrong, and it basically sounds like, you know, Dick Moss. I don't know any other way to say it.
sounds like you have a tumor in your dick.
Right. But he did such a good job of like taking a concept that is just totally nuts, totally crazy, and
making it feasible.
Make it a little bit feasible. Still unbelievable. You still, you know, I was never scared at one point during this movie. It's not a scary movie. It's a comedy. It's more of a comedy than anything else. But anyway, they're on this boat. They get arrested. All the cops that arrested him, they're all dead. And they crash the boat into land. And when they get to land, there's a SWAT team ready. Because apparently there have been enough murders that, like, all the people that Gert was trying to convince now start to believe him, and they're like, "You gotta find Gert," and nobody can find him because he's on a boat and he's not answering his phone, obviously. So here's the part where the movie kills itself. The end. This part of the end. There's like 2 endings here. And what happens? The Zwart Pieten kill all the SWAT guys. They kill them all.
Yep.
And then they basically kill Gert, but Gert, he like you think he's dead.
He comes back though.
He comes back, and then he totally dies again. And you're like, okay. And then so Frank is like, with 4 minutes left on a time bomb, he is going to drive the boat into Sinterklaas's boat, and he's going to explode it. And because they can die. We established with the chase scene and the attack that the Zwart Pieten can die. Yep. And they what explain to me what happened there, because I don't know what happened. Like, he sends it, and all of a sudden they're like, and it just stops. What?
Yeah. You know, I was totally confused by that part. From what I got from it though, it kind of seemed like, since, like, you know, it made you think that he blew up the boat by casting it towards the ship, you know, and they all disappeared. So it's like, kind of like the explosives worked, they blew up the boat, and that made those guys disappear. That's what I got from it.
I'll take that, because I can't think of anything else other than, like, and my original thought was like, the night is over.
Oh, that makes sense too.
But if you did that, like, this director has been smart. I'm giving the director a lot of credit here because he's been smart throughout this entire film. So if he was smart enough to, if that was what the plan was, he would have shown us the sun rising. And also, it's wintertime and it's Christmas, and December 5th is the winter equinox, and I think that's the shortest day of the year, which means we're talking about like almost a 14-hour period of, you know, dusk, or, you know, like darkness. Anywhere in the world you are. And the Netherlands is sort of north, like they're just, you know, Scandinavia is like right there, so their winter, their days are even shorter than ours. So I don't think he was doing that, because it just wouldn't have been as steeped in realism as I think your explanation is better.
That's what I got from it. I had to watch it twice because I thought I missed something.
So basically, Frank is the lone survivor of this whole ordeal, and he's in the hospital, and one of the detectives comes in, and they're basically covering this up because it's a big holiday. It's a big deal, and they can't not celebrate it anymore. They can't, you know, it generates, I'm sure it generates a lot of money. Imagine being told that you can't celebrate Christmas anymore because Santa's evil. Like, but how many companies profit heavily off of Christmas, right?
Oh yeah.
So they're like, they gave him some hush money, and his mother was sick. I didn't mention that. I forgot about it. I didn't remember it until now. But his mother was sick, and he's like, if you just keep your mouth shut about this, then we're gonna take care of this. We'll get your mother taken care of. And so he's like battling it, but you know which way he's gonna go. I mean, and then he has like he falls asleep or whatever, and he has like a dream. And it's a really good jump scare. And I hate jump scares. I think that I never say a jump scare is good.
Oh, it made me jump, though.
Yeah. It was good. I was really impressed by it. And then he comes out of the dream, and it's his girlfriend waking him up. And, he's like, basically kind of like, what are you going to do? And they have some, they have a little bit of conversation. And then she's like, I know what'll make you feel better. And the only time in the movie that you see any nudity, any naughtiness, is right there. And it's just a little bit of side boob. And then we pan out to Sinterklaas standing, he's at the top of a church.
Oh yeah, he's just looking out,
looking over the city. He's in a bird's nest. It's pretty wild. So,
oh yeah.
We are did I miss anything? I don't think I think I hit all the points. I got the IMDb page. Let me look it up just to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Yeah. You know what I really liked? I really liked when the chimney fell on the cop car and the whole Saint Nick thing, and then you see the horse, his brain's exposed. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. That was pretty cool. Let's see. Looking over here, there wasn't a lot of stuff on this movie either. The last few that we've done, there hasn't been a lot. Scenes in police station were not filmed in Amsterdam. Okay, yeah. So there's not. I basically covered what I was gonna hit up, and that was all the stupid controversy that this movie had. We are going to take a quick break, and we're going to bounce back, and we're going to rate this bad boy, and then we're going to be done. You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray.
You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. We are dedicated to bringing you the show across your favorite medium. We can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. Please send all suggestions to bloodgutsandbluray@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.
All right. It's that time. Bub, let's hear your rating for the 2010 Dutch language film, Sint.
I gave it a 3. I gave it 3 scars. You know what? I was going to give it 2.5 scars, but you get an extra 0.5 because Brett can't read. Makes me appreciate it more. That I was able to watch the film. I was able to watch the film and Brett couldn't.
Well, there is a if anybody's thinking about checking this out, there are 2 versions. There's one where the voices are overdubbed. I think you can get that one on YouTube. And there's another one where there are subtitles. I highly suggest the subtitle version, not because Brett can't read, but because the nuances are better. I watched both, and I can tell you straight up that the nuances are better. You can hear the inflection in their voices. You can hear it. I think it's a much better. I think it's a much better version. I felt like I was watching something like weird with the overdubs. I'm just not a fan of the overdub thing, but I also gave this movie a 3 out of 5. I really, really enjoyed it. It was very hokey. It was very silly, but I originally gave it a 2.5. but because there's 31 on-screen kills, I thought it deserved that little body count bonus, and so I gave it.
That makes sense.
I'm sitting pretty at 3 out of 5. It's definitely a movie that I'm gonna watch every holiday season. I'm so glad that we talked about it because the box art for it, the poster.
Oh, it's great.
It looks great. It looks so cool, and it was a movie that I really wanted to see. And of course, you have to wait. You can't really. I feel weird watching a holiday movie when it's not the holiday season. Like who wants to watch Black Christmas in May? Nobody. So it's got that extra, power to it if you're watching it at the appropriate time. So I'm sitting pretty at 3. I know Brett would have loved this if he could just learn to read.
I'm excited. We gotta get him some Hooked on Phonics.
Yes, we definitely do. So that's gonna do it. Next week we're gonna talk about Krampus, and I'm really, really looking forward to that. If you guys out there want us to, if you know any fun facts, Bub pointed one out before that's awesome. But if you want to hit us up and have us mention something about Krampus, your favorite Krampus memories, anything Krampus related, hit us up with anything Krampus related on Twitter or on Instagram, and share your Krampus pictures with us and what have you. We love Krampus here. So thank you very much, and toodaloo.
Farewell. That's Dutch for goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. Written and hosted by Bloodbath, Bub, and Brett667. Edited and produced by Bloodbath. Music has been graciously provided by the Slasher Film Festival Strategy and Nightbirds. Artwork and logo have been provided by Bub. Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray is available on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, as well as @BloodGutsBluray on Twitter, @BloodGutsandBluray on Instagram, and visit our Tumblr page by going to bloodgutsandbluray.tumblr.com. For any questions regarding the show, advertising, or anything else, please send an email to bloodgutsandbluray@gmail.com. Thanks again. Get possessed.